What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us today. For those who don't know me, I am Tiara, aka T, your wine diva. And I am super excited. I have a lovely glass of Pinot Grigio to pair well with this warm, not quite end of summer fall day. And the awesome Brock Johnson on today. So, Brock, can you please introduce yourself for those who might not know who you are?
Yeah, well, hi. Thank you so much for having me on the show. First of all, I wanted to get that out of the way, but absolutely, yeah, I am Brock Johnson. I am a 22-year-old college student athlete. So I go to school full time. I play on the football team here at UC Davis full time. I play quarterback. But also on the side, I'm an entrepreneur. I run a business, an online social media marketing business. I teach small business owners how to market their business and their brand using short form videos and storytelling and really Instagram stories. And in the last year, I've been able to produce a full-time income really on just a part-time schedule that I'm really able to work on my business. So that's me.
That's amazing. And I love it. And I just think I love like the stuff that you post. So I was just like, yes, when you said that you were you were like willing to do this. So what are like I know like Instagram stories is definitely like I feel like your bread and butter, but like what is your preferred platform and why?
Instagram overall is my preferred platform. Really just like plain and simple. I enjoy using Instagram. It's easy for me to use. I've been on it since I was in 8th grade, way back in like 2012, 2011. When I was in 8th grade, I got on Instagram, which is really funny for a lot of people. But I've been on it what feels like my whole life. It feels very natural and organic for me. All of my friends and family are on it. So that feels very, very natural and easy. And then on top of that, the added level is that it's the hottest platform right now. It's the most engaged platform, no joke. And there's so many different easy to use features. There's not personally when I feel like when I go on Facebook, I'm overwhelmed by everything that there is on Facebook. I think Twitter is hilarious. Like I love Twitter for just comedy, and for that same reason, I love TikTok for comedy. But in terms of putting the two together, family, friends, usability, just the things that I generally like as a human being, plus the business side of things, where my customers are, where my audience is, merging those two together, that's Instagram.
Love it. Perfect. For anyone that's like, because I started on Facebook and like that's kind of like going live on Facebook was where I kind of started doing my jam and getting my brand out there. So for people who are like trying to make that shift from Facebook to Instagram, what are some tips that you could offer for that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I should say that I actually, when I first started my business, my primary form of growing it was Facebook Live videos. I was basically like 50-50. My business was either growing because of Facebook Lives or because of Snapchat, which is crazy to say now. But back in 2016, 2017, when my business first started, it grew really from Snapchat, which is crazy to say. And it sounds nuts now. But really, Snapchat was a great place for me. But Instagram is a great place to grow your business because there's a really low level of entry. You don't have to have a ton of technical knowledge. And I think one of the big misconceptions about Instagram is that you have to be polished and perfect. And really more than ever, we've been seeing, especially in recent months and in 2019, that authenticity is what people want. They don't need you to be perfect. They don't need you to be polished or scripted. They want off the cuff. They want real you. They want the no makeup, the no filter. They want to see the kids having a temper tantrum. They want to see all of that because really, more than ever, these younger generations are valuing real personal connections, and they're buying from people and they're investing in businesses, not who have the best marketing or who spend the most money on advertising, but with the companies they trust the most, with the companies that can tell the best story. And that brings me to my final point, which is that Instagram is the best platform, in my opinion, to shortly, succinctly, yet still powerfully tell your stories. And that's a big point. A lot of people, a lot of coaches, a lot of TED Talks you'll watch will say the common phrase, everyone has a story to tell. And when I was studying storytelling, I kept hearing this phrase. Every book I read, I heard, you have a story to tell. And that sounds empowering, but it also sounds scary because it's like,
oh yeah, terrifying.
What's my story? Like I'm going to have to buy all these courses. I'm going to have to go to all these trainings just to figure out like, what's my story, and I have to craft it. And what's my hook? Here at UC Davis, they're trying to this is a little sidebar. They're trying to train us in the athletics department to, they call it launch, basically start a career after graduation. And a big key to that is what is your story that you're going to tell when you're being interviewed? That is daunting. That's scary.
Oh yeah.
I like to alleviate the pressure by just saying that you have stories. I think you have hundreds of stories. I think you have thousands of stories that are experienced every single day. They're happening to you right now. They're going to happen tonight. They've happened this morning, and they're happening for a reason. And that's so that you can share them with your audience, that you can take those failures and those lessons that you've learned and share them with your audience and give freely to your audience. And it's so easy to do that on Instagram because of Instagram stories, which is a constantly updated 24-hour, basically continuous loop of what's going on in your life. So kind of the general overview is it's a great place, Instagram stories, to let people see the real you, to tell your stories on a daily basis and allow your audience to begin to know, like, and trust you.
Mm-hmm. So how do you balance sharing your daily life and your family and all of that on your stories versus trying to get your message across from your business aspect?
Mm-hmm. I think personally, what I love about my business is I've built my business around myself. And I think that's one of the biggest tips that I could give anyone, whether they are building a business that's a multi-level marketing business, they're selling their own product, no matter what it is. You need to build, in my opinion, your business around yourself and your brand. Your following needs to grow because people love you, not because necessarily people love the product that you sell. Of course, it's awesome. It's awesome if people love the product that you sell. And I love that my audience does love the products that I sell. But most importantly, I want them to love me as a person, because 5 years from now, I'm probably going to be doing something different. And 10 years from now, I'm probably going to be doing something different from that. And the world and the economy and the industries are constantly shifting and changing. So if I tie myself down that I am this one single thing, then it ties me down so that I can't move on to the next thing. And my audience will be really confused when I do. So to answer your question, I know people want hard numbers on this. The 80-20 rule is always a good one. 80% of the time, share personal things, share things that don't really relate to your business. 20% of the time you can share things that are more business related. But really for me, I'm always sharing something related to me. Now, sometimes those things that are related to me are also related to my business. But because my business is me and because I am my business, because I'm so interwoven within it, I'm not selling. I'm not like, hey, here's this sale and here's how much you can get on this product and here's why this product is great. I'm allowing my audience to talk about why it's great. I'm using word of mouth, and I'm just talking about the things that I love as me, a human being. And so that's really a huge key on Instagram and Instagram stories. Like I said earlier, is just authenticity.
Yes. Melissa said it all blends. And I think that's right. It all blends together. You just kind of, share your life, and your business is essentially your life. So therefore, when you mention it, it's totally fine. How do you build a following on Instagram?
This is the question that every single person wants. This is the number one question I get is, how do I grow my following? How do I get more followers? First of all, I think that consistency is very, very important. Consistency is still king. Consistency, however, is different for every single person. There's plenty of Instagram influencers and Instagram gurus out there who are going to tell you, T, listen, you need to be posting twice a day. And then you're going to listen to some other podcasts and some famous blogger who just shows off her butt all the time on Instagram is going to say listen, girl, listen, you need to be posting once a week. Oh, well, what about every other day? Oh, you need to be posting only videos. And there's going to be so many general blanket terms. And that's what the experts of the world that I unfortunately consider myself a part of. That's what we like to do, is just give these blanket terms. And it's because it's flashy and it's sexy. But honestly, consistency is king, but consistency is defined by your own audience. So it's not necessarily that we're all going to be posting once a day or once a week or every other day, but really we're all going to be posting as consistently as we can without seeing a drop off in engagement. So basically, numbers wise, what that would look like For example, I'll use easy numbers. If I'm posting every single day and I'm getting 100 likes and 10 comments, okay, that's my baseline. Now let's say next week I'm going to do some testing. I'm going to bump it up to twice a day, quite a bit. I'm going to post twice a day. I'm still getting 100 likes and 10 comments. Awesome. That's great. If I can keep up that twice a day, cool, let's keep going. Next week, I try posting 3 times a day. And all of a sudden my audience is like, whoa. You're just Brock Johnson. You're not Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Hold out there, homeboy. We don't need 3 times a day. And all of a sudden my engagement drops to 75 likes and 5 comments. That's a decrease in engagement. And so I know that my sweet spot is twice a day. And there's also a little asterisk that I noted there, which is how consistent can you stay? Let's say that my audience might like me posting twice a day or once a day. Maybe the engagement rates are the same, but I just know that in my time and my schedule, I can't post twice a day. Like I just physically don't have that much energy and attention. So I only post once a day. That's just an example. So consistency is king, number one, to grow your following. I think that a consistent hashtag strategy is also very, very important. And I could spend the next 3 hours talking about hashtags, but very simple. You want targeted hashtags. You want niched down specific hashtags to get to your audience, not just the big popular hashtags, which are going to get you some spam robot likes. So those are the first two: consistency, hashtags. I think Instagram stories are a great way to grow your following. And here's why. They're not a great way to get a lot of exposure. Like you're not going to get on the explore page from your Instagram stories. You're not going to get a ton of people commenting on your Instagram stories that then other people will be tagged in and see. Like that's just not how Instagram stories work. But here's the analogy I like to use. And here's what I think is really important for all of us to understand moving forward on Instagram. Because this question that was asked, how do you grow your following? I said it was the most popular, and it is even by people. I have people with 500,000 followers reaching out to me asking, how can I grow my following? And here's the analogy I like to give. If you think of your Instagram as a party, you as the owner of your Instagram are like the party host. You're the host of the party. The best parties are the ones where the host is tending to the people already at the party. The best parties are not the ones where the host is like constantly looking out the window and like opening the front door, like, oh, did I hear the doorbell ring? Like, are there more people who want to come? Who else can I get? Hey, thanks for coming to my party. Can you tag 3 friends and get them to come? Instead of worrying about who isn't at the party and who isn't following you, I think we should spend way more of our energy, 90% of our energy, focused on serving the people who are already at our party. Serving the people who are already following us, asking ourselves not what can our followers do for us, but what can we do for our followers? And by doing that, by serving your audience and being authentically yourself and staying consistent, your following will grow because it's an awesome party. And the people down the block are like, wait, why is everyone loving that party? Why is everyone having such a good time? And the music is bumping and it sounds like they have great finger foods. I want to go be at that party. And they're going to naturally come, not because you put a billboard up, not because you put an ad in the Yellow Book pages, but because the people at the party are being served by you, the party host.
Yes. So how do you tend to your audience? I'm assuming like great content and of course like engaging and like, you know, when someone actually takes the time to leave a comment on your stuff, being thoughtful enough to respond back, I think are like huge things. But what else can you do? Absolutely.
So I try to give away tons of free, valuable content on Instagram. And some people might get scared by that. So if you are scared by giving away any knowledge for free, one way that I like to think about it is that on Instagram, I'll tell you what to do, but within my actual informational courses, that's where I'll show you how to do it. So maybe on my Instagram, I'll just give you like the general, here's what you should be doing, but I won't give you like the nitty gritty of how to do everything. That's one way you can think about it. So definitely serving and over delivering for your audience, giving them constant free, valuable information. Another thing that people should keep in mind here is that altering people's emotions, making them smile, making them laugh, just having a good time, being energetic or positive, that's a great way to serve your audience. It doesn't necessarily always have to be something that's actually like monetarily tied. It can just be something that can like, you know, change someone's mood, brighten someone's day, a positive quote, a beautiful image, something like that. And then some other tangible ways, like you said, anytime someone comments, definitely comment back, engage with them. And one thing I like to share here is that you should match their level of engagement. So if someone leaves an emoji under my post, I don't need to write them a 4-page letter response. I can just reply with an emoji. If someone leaves me a sentence, I can reply with a sentence. If someone takes the time to write a paragraph, I might respond with 4 or 5 sentences in my own little paragraph. In the direct messages, that's where I'll get even more personal. So I'll send longer responses, more personal responses. And here's my like biggest key in the direct messages. Everyone hates the "Hey girl" message, like the copy and paste "Hey girl." That's terrible, right? So of course, like a lot of people would recommend just typing your own authentic, real text messages. That's perfectly fine. Right. That's great. The next level for that's like Instagram 100. If you want to move on to Instagram 200, reply with a voice message. Right there in the DMs, there's that little tiny speech bubble. You can just hold that down and just be like, "Hey T, thanks so much for the message. I really appreciate your question. Blah, blah, blah is your answer. Have a great day." Boom, send. Took you like 15 seconds, but it's super personal. And if you really want to go to Instagram 300, send them a 15-second video. Just tap on the little blue camera in the direct messages, open up your phone and just say like, "Yo, like I appreciate you DMing me. Here's the answer you're looking for," or just appreciating someone for giving you a shout out or DMing you in general. Just that little personal touch of sending them a little video, which takes 10 seconds out of your day. 10 seconds, just like that. It's amazing the relationships that can be built. And then the one final tip that I will give for you for building those relationships and serving your audience is when you're speaking, both in your copy, like in your captions, and on your actual Instagram stories, or if you post any videos there on Instagram, don't use words like "y'all" or "everybody" or "hey guys" or "hey what's up everybody," because as we're watching your Instagram stories, we feel like we're your best friend. We feel like we're the only person. Like as I'm watching Kim Kardashian's story and she's talking about Kanye, I feel like she's giving me one-on-one private info about Kanye. I'm like, what are we talking about right now, Kim? But as soon as she's like, "Hey everybody," I'm like, oh yeah, there's like a million other people who are watching right now, and your audience is the exact same way. So as much as I can on my stories, and I would recommend you doing the same, everyone doing the same, is that when you're speaking on Instagram stories, just use the words "you" and "your." Keep it personal. Keep it like you're talking to just one person, and your audience will stay in that psychological mental space of being your best friend and being the one person who is watching.
Yes, I love that. You had mentioned a little bit before about how, like, you know, you're a collegiate football player, you have your business, you're making a full-time income. And a lot of times I have people talk to me about how they're like, "I wish I could start a business, but I'm a mom. I have this, I have that. I have all of the things to do. I don't have time." So how do you find the balance and how do you create that time?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head with that last phrase, with create the time. None of us has enough time. None of us. Like no matter what excuses we make, and ultimately they are excuses, none of us have enough time. I wish there were more hours in the day. I wish there was like a 5-hour window where I could just get tattoos, because apparently I have a tattoo addiction, and I could just play Fortnite with my friends and take a nap. But that's just not possible because there's only 24 hours in the day. We all have the same number of hours in our day, whether you're Gary Vee or you're Chalene Johnson or you're Barack Obama. No matter who you are, you have 24 hours in your day. So how do we create more time? It's a Jocko Willink quote, which comes from, he's an author of one of my favorite books called Extreme Ownership. It's a book on leadership. And he says that discipline creates freedom. And this really rules my life in terms of scheduling. I schedule just about every hour of my day. Discipline creates freedom. And so in sticking to that schedule, I can schedule in an hour worth of playing video games. I can schedule in a 45-minute nap. I can schedule going to the movies tonight. Like I can schedule all that in and make it work because I know I'm going to stay disciplined to that schedule. And then of course, within the scheduling, there's always going to be quote unquote sacrifices. Those things are always going to have to take place. But I think that the sacrifices will be less sacrificial if you focus on your why and your priorities. So I have my priorities straight. They're actually like literally right behind the camera right now, up on this big whiteboard that I have in my room that has my goals and my priorities and my aspirations and my intentions. That's very, very important to me. So I know that I value family. I know that I value my sports. I value my faith. I also I really value like my time alone, my time for creativity. Those are all things that I really put value in. So if something goes against those values, I just probably am going to have to make a sacrifice, so to speak, and cut that out of my schedule. I know that personally, I also find a lot more joy in serving people, in growing an online business, in becoming financially independent from my parents, which is a huge goal that I've had. All of that's very important to me. So when I have the option to go out to a party or to spend my entire afternoon watching Netflix and playing video games, I might put that on hold and focus on other things, but I can always come back to it later. I can always schedule it later because like I said, discipline creates freedom. So if you're able to really look at your schedule and figure out where do things align, where do your priorities, do they match up with how your schedule is designed? That's really how I break it all down.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Thank
so
you.
who are your mentors like in the entrepreneurial world?
I think the first one would be kind of the obvious one, and the one that I would be scolded for, and I might not get Christmas presents this year if I don't say it. And that would be my mom and my dad. I was raised in an entrepreneurial household. And this is a little side story. This was funny. I was in one of my communication classes yesterday, and it's about organizations and businesses. And the professor said, how many students who come from entrepreneurial families, like how many of you are in here? And I raised my hand, a few other students did, and she said, I feel sorry for you guys because your parents are the hardest workers. Like they're in the office 20 hours a day and they're grinding 80 hours a week. And I was like, I don't like this. And of course, this is coming from like academia, which is very opposite of entrepreneuria. But this was off-putting to me because that's not the family I was raised in. The family I was raised in was one that put family above business. My parents took me to school every single day. They were at every single practice and they never missed a game. Even now, as I'm playing college football in random cities in Idaho and North Dakota and across the East Coast, my parents are flying to every game, even right now as I'm 22 years old. So I learned these great business practices from my parents. They taught me everything I know about money and about serving people and about growing a business and entrepreneurship and family. They taught me everything I know. So those are my biggest mentors. And then besides that, Sean Cannell has been a big mentor for me. Pat Flynn, who's a big, I love Pat Flynn, big podcaster. Honestly, my football coaches here at Davis are really big mentors in my life. And then one thing that I love about the new digital age we're living in is, people say like you're the average of your 5 closest friends. I think you're also the average of like the 5 closest people you follow. So you can choose to follow 5 mentors. Maybe you don't have the money to pay a mentor. Maybe you don't have that personal relationship where Chalene Johnson is your mother, but you can follow these people and you can listen to their podcasts and listen to their YouTube channels and be on their live videos like we are today, and gain this free knowledge. And like, it's like you're having a one-on-one conversation. It's like you're being mentored because all of this information is being freely shared in the world. And I think that's really, really awesome.
I love that. And that's a great thought of like the 5 people that you follow being like, who you're kind of the summation of. Cause I'm like thinking about who do I follow most? And I'm like, oh man, if I'm Gary Vaynerchuk, I'm going places. What are you looking to do when you graduate?
I don't know. Honestly, quite honestly. I mean, I have an idea in that I will definitely continue running the business that I have now. And I'm really, really excited for that. I can't wait to really spend full time on this business and not have to worry about school. I will, of course, miss football. So my first goal, my first dream is to continue playing football for as long as I can, whether that's in Canada or the NFL or in Europe, or just continue staying around the game as much as I can. But every football career has an expiration date. And I know that So I'm really excited to just continue running my business, continue to serve more people, reach a bigger audience. I don't know where I'll be though. Recently, I've been like maybe Seattle. Maybe I want to go to Wyoming and like live in a cabin for a couple of years. I don't know. Maybe back to LA or Southern California, but I don't, geography wise, I don't know, but I'll definitely continue running my business.
And I think that's awesome because, like, honestly, I remember when I graduated, I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and what I do now is completely so far. Like, you know, I wanted to be like a film editor and like an actor and a this and a that, and like now I work in wine and like have podcasts. Like, you never know. So I think it's great to just be able to take time and test different things out and see what really fits and what like speaks to your soul, and kind of create a life that you're happy to live. I think that's like something that people really search for the money versus searching for the like happiness. And I think happiness should be the definition of what success is.
I agree. I totally agree. Couldn't agree more.
Awesome. So what kind of equipment do you recommend people have for creating their like videos and online content?
Yeah, this thing, a phone in general. Every smartphone, like if any of y'all touch your pocket right now and you're like, oh, hey, it's a smartphone, not a flip phone. Congratulations. You can be a movie maker. You can make commercials. You can make professional videos. But guess what? You probably don't have to make professional videos. You probably just have to make Instagram stories or Facebook lives or IGTVs or maybe even a YouTube video. It's all possible with this thing. This thing is amazing. There's more computing power in this little tiny rectangle than it took to put people on the moon. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. And so like we've barely even tapped into this thing. So I think that you don't need more than your phone. If you're just getting started, don't let the technology or the lack of a budget hold you back from creating content online. You really just need your phone. Of course, you can upgrade it. You can go on Amazon, everyone's favorite online store, and you can buy like microphones, and you can buy ring lights, which everyone loves, or you could buy like a professional microphone or a professional camera for your laptop. That's all great and dandy, and it'll help level you up. But when you're just getting started, just use your phone. You don't need more than that. The microphone quality, the camera quality, even the editing and the apps. Like there's free apps on here that you would probably need to spend like $70 for to just get a professional version. And that's not $70 total. That's like $70 a month. So really your phone is really all you need. Yeah.
I love that. That's perfect. And I just wanted you to say that because like so many people are like, I don't know. I need the Diva ring light, the this, the that. No, I started on my phone, and you know, it took about, I think my very first live video was about 3 years ago. And so when I got my Diva ring light, maybe, I don't know, a year ago or something like that. So like you work your way up.
Exactly.
So what are you working on right now?
Right now, I'm excited. First of all, I'm in football season, so everything's a little bit slower right now. I've been outsourcing a lot more to my my virtual team, my virtual assistant. She's been helping me out a lot more. Everything's a little bit slowed down intentionally so that I can focus more on football and school. But I am right now beginning to test out Instagram reviews, like personal Instagram reviews done by me on people's Instagrams. But I can already see where this is headed. This is definitely going to be headed into like a general Instagram course. And that's just because I find myself saying the same things to everyone's Instagram. And so why spend the time to personally review each person's Instagram when I can serve more people by just making an online course with a couple of videos explaining what I would in these Instagram reviews and eventually turn it into a course. But as of right now, it is still one-on-one Instagram reviews and some one-on-one coaching going on.
That's awesome. So what's the little, like, I feel like Snapchat's pretty similar to Instagram stories. Where's the difference?
Yeah, the difference is really in searchability and ease of use. Snapchat really bit off more than they could chew by totally redesigning their platform. And part of that is because Snapchat views itself first and foremost as a camera company and not as a social networking company, which I think is very interesting. But in doing that, they redesigned their platform about a year and a half ago, made it much harder to understand, much harder to use, and it was already a pretty hard to use platform.
Right.
And the biggest struggle of Snapchat is that it's tough to search for things. It's tough to find people. what I loved about Snapchat was that there was only stories. So there was like literally just that. So it was all people had to watch, and it was really all they would consume. So there was really high engagement over there. But now, since everyone's left, everyone's on Instagram, where there's a lot of variability, there's a lot of creativity, and yet it's all still simple enough so that we can stay plugged in and stay engaged.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience today?
Let's see, anything I would like to share with the audience. Really the idea of focusing on the process and the journey rather than the end result. Oftentimes, of course, the end result is a product of the process and the journey. But this is something that I've learned from my mentors who are my football coaches, that focusing on finding joy is really how we can find success. And we think about this on our football team in terms of happiness is like it's a fleeting achievement. It's something that once we grasp, it constantly slips through our fingers, and we're constantly trying to get more happiness and get back to that feeling. On the contrary, finding joy is, in the way we talk about it, is the idea that you can find joy even on a bad day, that you can find joy in the process. You can find joy in everything that you're doing, in the people you're working with and who you're serving. And when you find joy and focus on finding joy in whatever it is you're doing, you're going to be much more successful as a product, and you're going to enjoy the actual process along the way that leads up to those results. Definitely pays off on the football field when mistakes happen and losses happen, finding joy, but I think it's just as important in the business world as well.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. I love that. A great note to end on. Thank you so much, Brock, for your time and talking with us today. And thank you for listening or watching wherever you're consuming this content. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your day.